It was a very positive media day for the Phoenix Suns. It's very clear a new chapter has been turned in this book. It's a new era. They're starting clean, so I figured I had to find the whitest shirt possible. In fact, it's whiter than me. Psychos and sickos unite for a new era edition of PHNX Suns presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365. Deposit 10. Place a bet for 5 to get $200 in bonus bets. We are back live, and by we, I mean me. I'm Eric Ruby. That's Stephen Prejean Gardner asking great questions as always at Media Day. And we got old Mangle Toast, a.k.a. the Juice Man, a.k.a. Freckled Mamba, a.k.a. Ayrton. Behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Big shout out to a couple new members, West Bezzy and Stephen Mitchell, who just became members today. And of course, we have another member in the chat in Deborah Owens. We got Sean, Book Sunwalker, Stephen Weiss. We got Brent. We got Michael. Appreciate everybody who's in here chatting with us today. If you could hit that like button, that'd be very appreciated. Subscribe button as well if you feel so inclined. And if you're listening on audio, 5-star reviews go a very long way. There was a ton to digest from the Phoenix Suns 2025 Media Day happening a little earlier this year due to their preseason trip to China coming up at the beginning of next month. Today, we got the heavy hitters on deck. We'll hear from Mat Ishbia, Brian Gregory, Jordan Ott, Devin Booker, and Jalen Green as well. And then tomorrow and Friday, we will take you through the rest of what we heard at Suns Media Day. But before we get into reliving some of the best moments, Steven, what was your biggest takeaway from what really felt like a fresh start in Phoenix?
My biggest takeaway is that Sean says you make your shirt look gray.
And then Book Sunwalker asked, where's your hat? It's Media Day, so I went without a hat. I will say this. They did not call on me to let me ask questions at the beginning of Media Day because they did not know who I was. They came up to me afterwards. They're like, we're so sorry for not like calling on you to ask questions. We didn't recognize you without a hat. So that was funny. Also, big shout out to Keith.
Yeah, sure.
Big homie holding down in catering.
Yeah, if Mat Ishbia is watching, I know he's not maybe a direct employee of yours, but Keith is amazing. One of the kind of people in leadership with the hospitality side, particularly with the food. They do a sensational job in being personable, but always bringing in the goods and making our days a little bit easier, usually later in the day when games are happening. Oh. So shout out to big homie Keith and all of the peeps that he works with because they all do a sensational job.
Not Keith Van Horn.
No, oh no.
Who is a dude?
No. Yeah, he's a dude, but we're not talking about.
But Keith is also a dude.
Yeah,
Keith is for sure.
He's also Big Keith for sure.
Yeah. We got a big show ahead of us. We will, like I mentioned, hear from all of the big brass from the Suns. But Steven, I feel like, obviously you go into the season and it's mentioned a couple times and we'll hear it a little bit later. Like the expectations for this season are nowhere near where they had been the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. But this team, from what you hear about how active they are in the gym, how their mindset is from the top to the bottom, this is a team that is carrying themselves like one that's going to win a lot of games this year.
There's a silent, quiet confidence that feels like it's rooted in buy-in. I don't want to speak too soon on that front because we haven't seen them start to lay that foundation from training camp or even in like preseason games. Mm-hmm. But it feels like everybody's bought into everything that's being preached from the higher ups, starting with Mat Ishbia to Brian Gregory and to Jordan Ott and company. They all feel like they're aligned. And I don't say that with I don't say that to be funny. I mean it. It really feels like that's something that they've been hammering home based off of how they show up every day.
The alignment thing is so funny to me because it was such a big joke. And I do think rightfully so at the time after Brian Gregory's press conference. But the idea of it was always good, right? It was always a good idea to have organizational alignment. Mm-hmm. It was always a good idea to be like, okay, you know what? Whatever the GM is thinking, the coach is thinking, the players are thinking, we're all on the same page. And that also seemed to have rolled over into the workouts portion where, training camp doesn't start until tomorrow. And everybody was saying that they've all been in the gym all summer and working together. Like that in itself is alignment.
Yeah, it is. I feel like they said it a lot last season, but we didn't see it in the consistency in answers, the disposition that so many of those that came up to the podium today had while they were up there and spoke with. Like it genuinely feels like there is a quiet confidence about what it is that they're working towards and their belief in that.
And I mean, obviously, we're going to have to wait and see, right? We heard great stuff at Media Day the last couple of days. I don't think you left Media Day. Yeah, the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. You don't leave Media Day usually feeling bad unless you are a Brooklyn Nets fan. And it's no different this year. So let's just dive into what we heard. Let's hear from Mat Ishbia. Before any questions were asked, Mat Ishbia went on a rather lengthy opening statement in classic Mat Ishbia fashion.
Real excited about the season coming up. Excited about the things that we've done here. As you guys know, I believe my job as the owner is 4 big parts. And I think we're doing a good job on all of them right now. Trying to set the right culture and organizational. Obviously, we build a great headquarters, doing great things with our team members, trying to make it the best franchise in the NBA and WNBA for our team members, but also for our fans and players. And so I think we're doing a great job with that. On the community side, we always spend time on the community. The NBA All-Star Game's coming next year, so we're excited about that. But also the Sons and Mercury Foundation. Hopefully you guys see some of the things we're doing in the community, really making an impact. And so very excited about those things and just continue to do the right things. The big one I spent a lot of time on, obviously, the fans. Obviously, I know the media deal got announced recently, but free TV for the fans, the concession prices, even letting the fans in early. Like, we spend a lot of time on the fan engagement, and I think we're doing a good job with that. And at the same time, we're always trying to find new ways to engage with the fans in a positive way. And then the fourth bucket, which is winning, right? We want to win, and I know that's what 99% of us want to talk about today, which we'll spend our time on. Is like I told you after last season, it was very disappointing. Disappointing season, wasn't fun to watch. I'm with you guys. I told you it'd be a lot of changes. We made a lot of changes from the front office to the coaching staff to the players. But more importantly, we set the right identity and the vision and the culture. And so it starts with me, and I told you I took the blame that when I bought the team, I didn't come in and set the right identity and culture on the men's basketball side. On the women's basketball side, we did that. And you're seeing some of the results a couple years later. On the business side, we did that. You're seeing some of the results, whether we're number 1 in social media or we're top 5 in sponsorships. We did like a lot of things that maybe you see and maybe you don't see. We've done a lot of things that way, but on the men's basketball side, we didn't do that. And now we have. And so we have set the culture, we've set the tone, we have an identity here in Phoenix now, and it's being lived out. And we made some changes in the front office. We got a great GM, we got a great coach, we got great players, and we feel like it's the type of team that our fans are gonna be proud of, the media will be proud of, and we're gonna enjoy watching. It's gonna be a different feel this year, and we're really excited about it. So I feel great about all 4 of those buckets, from a culture perspective, to fan engagement, to community, to winning. And, are we gonna win 82 games? Probably not gonna win 82 games, but I feel really good about that. You're gonna be proud of this team, you're gonna enjoy watching this team, and we're gonna continue to get better, and hopefully you'll feel the identity, the vision, the culture that we set, and you're going to feel it as fans and as media as well. And so I'm excited about this season, and it's been a long summer, too long of a summer, right? Waiting for the season to start. So we're glad we're here.
I think something that always stands out to me with Mat is he's never been shy about admitting shortcomings or faults by his own. Mm-hmm. We naturally saw that in today's press conference. I think he might have said it in his opening statements.
That was the opening
statements, yeah. Like talking about they did a great job paying attention in detail to things on the Mercury side, but on the Sun side, they overlooked certain things because of things that existed prior to when he came into ownership. And admitting those were faults, and they could have got ahead of the curve by making certain decisions in respect to others. They're in a good space right now. Now it's about maintaining that. Spring cleaning, cool, but what about, does it look like that come April and May?
Sure.
Once you go start getting into summer, you got to keep it clean.
Well, there's a lot, and we'll hear some more from Matt. Espo asked him about the lawsuit news that's going on.
Espo's apparently getting sued off of that.
Yeah, I mean, Ishbia talked about Devin Booker and what to expect in 2 to 3 years, and I will say this: like, yes, Mat Ishbia has been very great at announcing to the world, like, hey, I messed up. Hey, a hand on me, and that's a good quality to have. Now, what this is the real test of is. There is acknowledging these things, and then there are not repeating your mistakes, fixing it, and moving forward, right? How do you apply what's been happening over on the Mercury side to the Sun side? Because, the Mercury are a tough and gritty team, and we saw it in that comeback the other day, but, like, let's not get it twisted. They acquired top-end superstar talent, just like the Suns did. So why did that work, and why did it not work over here? Well, are you studying that? Are you making the right choices at GM, at head coach? I know that, we feel good about Jordan Ott, and it felt better about Brian Gregory with the moves that he's made over the summer. But realistically, we're not going to know if these are the right moves or if he did truly learn from that lesson. But you can only take it one step at a time. And one step at a time is acknowledging that things are different this year than they have been the last couple of years. And that's also something that Mat Ishbia talked about today at Media Day. We're
starting. Day one. We did that after the summer, after we saw 2 years of that disappointment we saw. It's different now. We made a bunch of changes, and we're going to be building the vision, the identity, the culture, and the success is going to be building the Phoenix Suns basketball. So I look at it as those 3 parts: business, women's, and men's basketball. We got 2 of the 3 right so far, and you're seeing the transformation to the 3rd one, the men's basketball, right now. But from the perception part, like I said, the article, I don't really pay too much attention to it. Like I said, if I had to pay too much attention, I'd probably beat myself up all day. But I know we do the right thing, and if we don't do the right thing, I promise you this: we take care of them. I care. I want to make sure everyone's happy. I want to make sure the community's happy, the people are happy. We're not perfect. I promise you, we've made mistakes, but some of those things are silly. And so people like just to write negative things, and and I got to deal with that sometimes.
Man, I like the confidence.
He's never lacking in confidence.
Definitely not.
You will hear that in his answer about the lawsuit.
Yeah.
So, later. Never lacking confidence. But, this is who he is. Steven. And it's for better and for worse. And I think for a lot it's been for the better. And on the court it's been worse. Right? But they started at the very beginning of the offseason, like he mentioned, and they completely changed everything. New GM, new head coach, basically an entirely new roster, a new identity, a new culture, a new everything. And we mentioned it a lot going into last year, or going out of last year, was the last thing that you could do was repeat anything and send the message that, hey, what happened last year was fine, because it wasn't.
Yeah. I think to the point that you're making about them just not repeating problems that came up before, obviously we don't have, like Matt said, we don't have any concrete evidence of these things. You can get, put in these situations over anything. Anybody can make claims, but I just hope that I just hope that everything is indeed the way that he is speaking to it, just because, one of the main reasons he was able to garner the position he's in now is because of the shortcomings of that from those that preceded him. Now, obviously, this wouldn't even be in the same realm of the stuff that was going on beforehand, but you just want to make sure you're not having those things happening, and things are on the up and up on that front.
Yeah, and obviously, go ahead.
Basketball is going to take a back seat to that at this point if it's continuing to be something that's showing up in just new and evolved
And you
ways.
mentioned the lawsuits.
Yes.
I mean, we were going to get to it slightly later, but we could just jump to it now. Espo asked Mat Ishbia, there's been recent reporting from Baxter Holmes about how there's a new clause that makes it more difficult to sue the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, the Suns have been sued a lot since Mat Ishbia has taken over. I'm not sure the exact times. I believe it's at least 5. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But it's happened quite a bit. And so Espo just point blank asked, what is going on with this? How do you deal with this? And especially when you are a culture preacher, when you have something like this happening.
Yeah. So Obviously, I saw there's lawsuits, and people like to report on lawsuits. As you guys know, anyone can file a lawsuit on any day they want, for any reason they want. I could file a lawsuit for that question, right? But but the truth is, you actually got to win a lawsuit. And where I'm different than most successful people or people that you say that have a lot of money is like, we don't settle. So if we don't do anything wrong, I'm not paying someone. And if their threat is they're going to go to the media and write a lawsuit, have fun, cool, write it. I hope you guys all report on how many lawsuits we actually lose, because we ain't lost one of them, and we're not going to lose any of them, to be honest, because they're ridiculous. But with that being said, you got to follow. When we do the right thing, that's why I tell my team, I go, listen, if we do something wrong, take care of that person. If I do something wrong, we always treat them well. We pay them. We do if someone does something wrong, we can't have that person in our organization if they do the wrong thing to someone. But that's not the case in any of these situations. It's just people trying to get a money grab, and they think that I'm just going to pay out. But I'm not afraid of the press writing a story about it, right? Besides that question, I'll deal with it once a year. Okay, you wrote a question about it. But like I said, report when we win them all. Actually, at my mortgage company, a couple years ago, we did a thing called All In, if you follow mortgage media at all, it was Ishbia's wrong, UWM is going to get sued, and we got about 5, 6, 7 lawsuits. Fast forward 4 years, we won every single one of them. I said, why isn't that on the front page of the Mortgage News that we won those? That's just on the back page when you win them. So the way I look at it is, I'm not going to ever settle with anyone. You can't come and leverage me or leverage the Phoenix Suns to settle. And if your threat is, I'm going to file a lawsuit, I don't care. If we do something wrong, we own up to it. We didn't do anything wrong. File a lawsuit, let the courts play it out, have fun with it, enjoy yourselves. Doesn't bother me at all. Like I said, besides a question every once in a while. And anyone can file a lawsuit at any time for any reason they want. And it's got nothing to do with the truth. They just write a lawsuit.
No, yeah. No, I got you. Okay, I'll let everybody know. Yeah, that was Ishbia. Yeah, we're getting sued by Mat Ishbia for that question. But you know what, Matt? We don't lose. We don't settle.
But the thing is, you can get sued for anything.
It's true. You can get sued for anything. How did you feel from that response? A very direct statement from Mat Ishbia saying, we are not going to lose any of these lawsuits, and we're not going to settle.
I mean, he was very sure. He was very, very sure about the situations. He's very aware, it sounds like. Very sure about those things that he's aware of not working in the favor of the accusers. Reassuring a little bit at least. Because you wouldn't want for him to be, we'll see it. We'll see how it goes. You would rather it must be something that he's confident about. I think it's to the point where there's a reason why we haven't said much about him, because it isn't until it gets to a certain point where it's like, okay, this is actually something. These are just they're just there at this moment right now.
And I think, you have to, keep space for a couple of different things. I do think you have to understand that it's he's not going to go up there and be like, yeah, we really messed up. We are going to lose. Right. And I'm not saying that he's not being genuine, because you can tell that he very clearly believes in what he believes in, and us not being privy to the situation. If somebody was, mistreated, mishandled, or, done wrong by, they deserve to be, compensated for it or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. That being said, if it is what he's saying and there's somebody just bringing it up to try to strong arm somebody who has money, then, they shouldn't get money. You let the courts figure it out. And that's we'll bring it up here, but I'm not going to sit here and give you my hard opinions on the lawsuits for the Phoenix Suns or whatever, anything like that. But I did find that answer interesting. But let's get back over to basketball. Steven, sound good with you?
Sounds great to me.
Mat Ishbia talking about Devin Booker committing, obviously, a record-setting extension with him, what he means to the city of Phoenix, and how involved he is in the franchise.
Yeah, well, Devin Booker is the franchise player. He's one of the greatest Suns of all time, as we all know. He's been here his whole career, and we obviously signed an extension to try to keep him here for his whole career. The best part about Devin is he wants to be here just like we want him here. And that's what a great marriage looks like, is everyone wants to be in it together. We're on the same team. We're completely aligned with what we believe and how we want to build this. And he's the guy. He's a franchise player. To compete for championships, you have to have a top 10, top 15 player in the NBA, and Devin Booker is that. And hopefully Devin Booker can even step up even more, because he's that kind of guy. It's his team. It's very clear. There's no question about it I don't know if ever, but anymore for sure. And I'm really excited about Devin. Devin's an ultimate winner, and he's going to show everyone that this year. But he's leading. He's working his butt off. He's one of the best players in the NBA. And I'm super excited to see him succeed this year and for years to come. Like, if I said this a couple years ago. I'm a lucky guy to own a team and be the leader of a team that has Devin Booker, like, as a franchise. Like, everyone's trying to find, I got a 28-year-old, I know he turns 29 in October, but a 28-year-old that franchise player, all-time leading scorer for the Phoenix Suns, that is our cornerstone. He wants to be here. We want him here. The fans love him. He's everything to the community out there. Like, how can we not have Devin Booker here? And so I'm very excited to have him and excited for the season to see him really play in an amazing way with new coaching staff and new team.
So that wasn't the last time that we heard someone say that they're lucky to be with Devin Booker with this franchise. I think that speaks a lot to the things that Mat Ishbia spoke to as far as Booker's representation and the way he resonates with the community dynamic of it all, the way that he's appreciated, the way that he's honestly synonymous with Phoenix at this point because he's been here for so long. They appreciate him no different than he appreciates them, and they show it in multiple ways. And then the other big thing what Mat Ishbia is speaking to is the way he's been showing up on a daily basis. That feels like the more Devin Booker way of leadership, more than talking and saying all of the buzzwords and all of the fun stuff and whatnot. More about the trips being taking guys up to his place up in Flagstaff or up north. Forgive me for my new Phoenician. Not knowing all of the cities.
Got it.
Flagstaff. I got that right. There we go.
I mean, he's probably got a couple places up north. You could really probably say any place up there. He probably has a house.
True, but yeah, him going up there with factions of the roster. Clearly being in the gym with Kobe Bryant last week or the week before last, whatever that was. Like those little bits matter significantly, especially for a team that's relatively new. Like a lot of these guys he's kicking it with have been with him for one season or are brand new to the roster. So I think he's taking it in stride, and I think it matters a lot for them.
Mm-hmm. Mario Not Bros 2 asked, did every player speak at the podium? The Suns stream didn't show nearly as much. Yeah, every player spoke at the podium. We do have media availability for all of them. We'll be posting some of that up here on our channel. We'll be giving some of those to diehards, some of those to members only. But yes, every player did get a chance to speak. We'll be giving our takeaways on the rest of Media Day beyond Ishbia, Gregory, Devin Booker, and Jalen Green. We'll be giving those to you on tomorrow and Friday's show. Just too much to pack all into one. I also would like it on the record that Devin Booker loves Wickenburg. I want that on the record. How about shout out to everybody in Wickenburg, huh? Shout out everybody in Wickenburg. Okay, I'm gonna call a little bit of an audible here, and we heard from Mat Ishbia on Devin Booker and committing. I think it's time that we hear from Devin Booker. This was probably the quote. Did we not have Book? Oh, never mind. That's on me. My eyesight. I can't see. I thought we had it in there.
Great pump fake though.
Well, stay tuned. Later on, we will have Devin Booker talking about unfinished business here in the Valley. Well, let's keep our business going. Let's keep these lights on, and let's hit this quick break. I'm a fan of the team. I mean, this is the most neutral outfit that I've probably ever put on. I can't show up in my son's onesie. I swear to God, I have a son's onesie. I literally wore it last night.
Oh, we never see it.
Oh, you're going to see it.
Man,
you're going to see the son's onesie.
Whatever day he's wearing it, I'm off.
You're going to see the son's onesie. I can't wear it to media day. I got to stay neutral.
Up.
One of the very few days that I am not repping my team. And it's why I love Rally House. It is one of my favorite places in the state, besides Wickenburg. Listen, they got locations in Tempe, Mesa, Glendale. They also have an online store, rallyhouse.com. Hundreds of pages, not just options, hundreds of pages of all the local sports teams, and it's only local teams. That's what I love the most. You're not walking into a store and seeing a Dodgers section. You're not walking into a store and seeing a Chicago Bears section. It's just so ridiculous sometimes what you see here in Arizona. Not at Rally House. None of that terrible Chicago Cubs merch at Rally House. Find your local Rally House location. Shop their entire product assortment online at www.rallyhouse.com today. And today I will stop at Circle K because we have a men's league game tonight, and I will be getting an electrolyte drink, as I always do, from Circle K, because not only are there Circle Ks on every single corner, they also always have deals, including deals on electrolyte drinks, but also on gas as well. And you can be in the inner circle and get a ton of great deals for free. But how do you join the inner circle? Well, If you're asking that, you're either new around here or you're never listening during the ad, so shame on you. All you gotta do is download the Circle K app, put in your phone number, put in your email as well, and boom, you're saving money on gas, drinks, food, and so much more, all with the Inner Circle. So join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Matt Dennis says, Steven not in shorts either. Can't believe what I'm seeing. We got Eric without a hat.
Said that.
Yeah, Eric without a hat and Steven without shorts on.
Sean, no, you get no help. You gonna help? You help yourself.
We're talking about the Cubs.
Yeah, we got ours clinched. We chilling, bro.
No comment on wearing the pants.
No.
Would you say you wear the pants in the podcast? Like, you know, like somebody wears the pants in the relationship. Would you say you wear the pants in the podcast?
Because that's the equivalent. I'm not answering that. No.
So you don't.
I plead the fifth, man. I'm not answering that.
So you don't. What I'm hearing, Ayrton, is that I wear the pants in this podcast.
No, what you hear is I'm not answering a ridiculous question.
If someone needs to put the pants on, I can do it.
What'd you say?
If someone needs to put the pants on, I can do it.
Oh, I mean, they're already on here, brother. I'm not taking off these pants unless I'm wearing the Suns onesie. I mean, what a show. What a show. We got it's been a while since I've seen a Steven face.
Can we transition, please?
Matt Dennis said this conversation took a strange turn.
Thank you, bro. Like, what are we doing right now?
Well, I bet
this is why I wanted to not include or involve myself with it.
Well, I bet you didn't expect
foresight
that.
On full display.
I bet you didn't see that coming. You couldn't look into the future and expect me to ask you if you wear the pants in this podcast.
Which
Which
something
is
ridiculous
so
was
funny.
coming.
I think that's actually
exactly what.
That's such a funny sentence.
Espo said my day off is improved.
Come on. Come on. I wear the Suns onesie in this podcast, okay? Yeah, my dad said you're wishing my vacation was extended. Too bad you're stuck with me. Okay. This is Mat Ishbia. I was trying to make a transition there and we just couldn't do it. This is what Mat Ishbia said when he was asked about, okay, we're talking expectations this year. Well, whatever. What about 2 or 3 years down the line? What can fans and you expect from this team?
Yeah, well, I hope that you see a lot of things that you're seeing with the Mercury. Right? I hope and by the way, the Mercury aren't perfect either. Who knows they could lose the next 2 games. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they win the next 2. But it's not about only wins and losses. What I want to do is build the identity and culture and organization that, 1, fans are proud of. 2, the organization gets behind, the media gets behind, everyone's behind this organization and the team. I want to make this the best franchise in the NBA and the best franchise in the WNBA. And that's what we want to do. And it comes from culture, community, fans, and winning. You can't do the first 3 and not win. So we got to get to the winning part, right? And so I think over the next 2-3 years, you're going to start to see a team that looks really connected, with a vision, with an identity that really stands out to you and to everyone else that watches it. It's like, that's Phoenix Suns basketball. That's the Suns way. I get what they're about now. I know what Matt was talking about a couple of years, and then I'll know we're on our way to success. Does that mean we're hanging a banner next year and the year after? Back to it's all coming. And like I told you guys before, I'm going to own the team for 50 years. We have to get this right. We're starting now. I made a mistake the first 2.5 years by not setting it, but we have set it now. And now I'll take 100% accountability of, is it being done the right way? And it's not going to be a straight shot like this. Like, we're going to be, how do we get there? We're going to go through some downs and some ups, and there's going to be some stuff I mess up with, and our front office mess up, and our coach and our players. But over the next 2-3 years, I think you're going to be really proud to watch this team. And let's be clear, like, winning is not winning games. Over time, we talk about championships, right? That's what we want to do. The Phoenix Suns have never won one, and that's extremely clear that that's the goal. But it doesn't mean it's the goal every day. It's like, how do we build to that? And it started, in April or May, whenever we lost the last game, and now we're going forward.
Yeah, having a franchise and a team that the fans can be proud of, very important. I don't think that's what was going on last season at all. Outside of the first 2 weeks of the season, where they looked like world beaters and contenders in the truest of it. You got to find a way to reestablish yourself as a team that is synonymous with the community. And I think Matt mentioned that when they hired Jordan Nutt, the desire was to have a team on the court, a product on the court that fans would be excited and happy to be fanatics of.
Yeah. They got a long way to go, right? I mean, the overwhelming feeling for this team is that, fans are they're just done. I mean, they're just not happy, right? And they want change. They want to feel better about everything. They want to have fun. And I think when you talk to everybody, and when you're at like media day, you're talking to other people and other media outlets and everything, and everybody's like, these last 2 years have been so draining, and they're supposed to be fun. Like, it's supposed to be fun. Sports is supposed to be fun. Having a big three is supposed to be fun. Having Kevin Durant on your team is supposed to be fun, and it just wasn't. And not only was it not fun overall, but on a night-to-night basis, there were fun plays.
Of course.
But that's some of the least fun I've ever had watching basketball was these last couple of years. If we can go over the next 5 years and just overarchingly say, I had a good time watching Suns basketball, will I be like satisfied? Probably not, but will I be happy? Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's where Matt wants to get to.
And then win a championship.
Obviously, even more so. But he also understands that you really can't get to that point without having a team that your fans are proud to watch and proud to support. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in so many other words, he pretty much admitted that they lost the plot on that in certain respects because of some of the decisions that they made. And they got to do a better job on that. I feel like this roster is one that will be much closer to that than the last two iterations of the team the last 2 seasons. Now it's about going out and proving it. Everything sounds good today. It sounds like it's setting a solid tone to come, but you got to put in that work, and that starts in training camp tomorrow.
Yeah, we've spent quite a bit of time talking about Mat Ishbia's opening statements. Honestly, way too much time. And I love Matt, but we got a lot more that we need to get into here, so let's start diving in to what Brian Gregory had to say. You mentioned expectations, Steven, and I think that is a good place to start with the general manager about his expectations.
Yeah, if you take a look at the teams that have kind of accelerated that process and have made a big jump in terms of their performance on the court, there's a common thread with those teams. They play hard and they're really tough. And they play an exciting brand of basketball that allows their talents as players to be showcased and so forth. So they're tough, they play hard, and they play together. And that system has kind of accelerated the process. I think we're in a good position to do that. Matt talked about the expectations. During my press conference last spring, I talked about, I want the fans, when they walk out of these doors, to be saying, that team plays unbelievably hard. They're competitive, they're resilient, they're tough, they play together. I want the guys on the opposing team in the locker room, in the ice tub, saying the same thing. If you do those things, then we're gonna be successful. And when you do those things, I'm just a firm believer, and I think Matt is, I think Josh is, I think J.O. is. You do those things, success always follows. The winning then ends up taking care of itself. When you bring in quality players, when they're high character dudes, when they understand the roles and they have the daily habits and discipline needed, then those things are in place, then the winning follows. And I think we're in a good position to do that.
These expectations they're very much appropriate for where the team is and what they're trying to establish as a foundation for everything that is this new era that they're diving into. And I think a lot of that is rooted in the daily habits. I feel like we heard that phrasing mentioned quite a few times today. And that's the only way they're going to get to doing that and then taking the steps forward to getting closer to success.
Well, and I think when people go, oh, the wins and the losses, but we want a team to play hard. It's like, you want to know what comes with a team playing really hard and playing fun and growing?
Success.
Winning games.
Success in some capacity.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like it's almost the same thing, but people are saying that they're different, right? When it's really not. And I think the threading the needle part is exactly what the Suns are trying to do. And when you break it down, each individual piece, and you go, okay, well, who is make or break on this roster? I think it's interesting to hear one of the guys that Brian Gregory just kind of mentioned out of nowhere having a breakout season. It was the man who looked a little thinner at Media Day this year and has a great hairline. It's Grayson Allen.
He's going to have a breakout year. because he's had as good a summer as anybody. I feel real confident about that. And I remember talking to him at the end of last year, and he talked about, and this is why having someone like Book is so important. He talked about the condition that Devin Booker was in and the fact he never gets tired on the court. And he one of the greatest strengths is his ability to run and run and run. And Grayson made a commitment, and we were in the hotel in Sacramento. He said, BG, I'm going to be in that kind of shape. And guess what? He is. You know, so when you put all those together, I think we got a lot of good pieces. Now the job is from a front office to a coach and to the player. We have to execute. Our job now is the execution of that game plan.
Yeah, it was fun to hear him stop. If you ever hear the full quote, pauses and gets to Grayson in particular, everybody's thinking it's probably gonna be Devin or maybe Jalen. He goes down a little further and goes to Grayson.
Yeah.
speaks glowingly. And it was funny to naturally hear Grayson respond to that after he was made aware of it when his turn came around. But, yeah, Ayrton mentioned it while this clip was playing. A lot of talk about cardio. Mm-hmm. This team needing to be in shape. And Grayson, I think, spoke glowingly about the reasons why behind that. But, yeah, the conditioning part, you want to play faster, you want to be more active, that is going to put a different demand on you as an athlete. And it's not just about having muscles and, chicks digging muscles and all of that stuff. You got to be in shape.
I mean, they do dig muscles.
They dig winning more.
So I've heard.
They dig winning more.
So I've heard. Two things I cannot relate to.
Oh, my God.
No, listen. With Grayson, the in-shape thing, obviously his weight was a big conversation last year. He did look, he looked
not his
thinner.
Weight, his muscle mass. They weren't talking about his weight. Oh, okay, well, I stepped back. That's not my lane. I saw stuff.
We were talking about his weight.
I saw stuff about his muscles, and people were talking about he looks like he got so much stronger. That's what I was hearing. I didn't hear anything about him being heavy. But
yeah, there was just a conversation about how much bigger he looked, and I would say this year he looked big. Like he's not skinny. He just looked more like toned. But I'm not here to talk about Grayson Allen's biceps. Not. That's tomorrow's show. Silly. But what we will do is we will hear from Brian Gregory on Mark Williams and how his body has been holding up, the type of work that he's been putting in. We'll hear about Steve Nash and what his role might entail with the franchise. And we'll hear from Jordan Ott and the two stars he'll be coaching in Devin Booker and Jalen Green. We're going to get into all of it on PHNX Suns presented by Bet365. We're going to do it right after our final break. 50% off weed, anybody? Yeah? I mean, do you want that? Yeah, you want it. Are you kidding me? 50% off weed. That's a lot of money. And you can get it over at Zen Leaf. All you have to do for a limited time and on a one-time purchase, use promo code ZEN PHNX. That's ZENPHNX. And that gets you 50% off a one-time purchase. Flowers, vapes, edibles, and more with locations all across the valley. ZenLeaf not only has fantastic service, not only has fantastic weed, but they want to give you fantastic deals for listening to this fantastic podcast where one of the hosts wears the pants in the podcast. Listen, so whether you're pre-gaming, post-gaming, watching the show, whatever it is, make sure you tap in with ZenLeaf and use promo code ZENPHNX. Get 50% off a one-time purchase. ZenLeaf, great weed, great service every single time. You want to know who wears the pants in the betting game? It's Bet365. Because Bet365, well, nothing is never ordinary with them. Obviously, they have offers throughout the MLB season, like MLB early payout. If your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections that you have marked as winners, or you can do the NFL. Thursday Night Football, $10 safety net bet. Sunday Night Football, $365,000 jackpot. Monday Night Football, 50% super profit boost and tokens on same game parlays. I saw SGP and thought about almost your name, SPG. That threw me off. And speaking of us, of course, we will be doing our Bet365 competition throughout the regular season. They'll have plenty of deals during the NBA. So from Bet365, new customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Use code PHNX365. Deposit $10. Place the bet for $5. Get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 52342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. I want to time myself and see how fast I can say that by the end of the season. Talking about health and players and off-season watches, we welcome everybody back in or continuing to be here at PHNX Suns. Like button, subscribe button, become a member today. Become a diehard today, get exclusive access to some of these press conferences that we will be posting, and, of course, 5-star reviews on audio. Keep running, and watch out behind you. Somebody is definitely there.
Jackie, shout out Big Worm. Big Perm.
Huh?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I was going to shout out Jackie for the comment about hearing from Brian Gregory in the accent saying, this is the era.
Yeah.
We're going from the fellas to the good fellas.
For sure.
Oh, Mario Not Bros 2 is mad at Freckled Mamba for being pro gray jersey. He said he almost disliked the video because of it.
I said it on that episode, and I'll say it again. You guys have found
Cut
the
his
hill.
mic off.
You guys have found the hill that I am willing to die on.
Then
Cut
die.
his mic off.
Then die.
Gladly.
Die.
Gladly. I'll die gladly in my gray PJ Tucker sleeve jersey.
Take them overcast jerseys with you, bro.
If you missed it, we tiered Suns jerseys in a pre-recorded show on Friday. On Monday, we did history lesson and the lessons the Suns could take from past teams. And then yesterday, we did storylines to watch for on Media Day. And guess what? All of them happened because we kind of just know what's going on.
How dare you put a sun on an overcast jersey?
It's a bar.
What are we doing? In the Valley of the Sun.
Yeah, this is the gray jersey guy, Jackie. Yeah, this is the gray jersey.
Yeah, it's him.
That's
right
his new
there.
name. That's his new
Him
name.
right there.
Gray jersey guy. We got Old Mangled Toast, aka that nickname's been kicking my ass.
I think I would definitely rather take gray jersey guy.
Oh man. So Brian Gregory talked about Mark Williams. Obviously, the Suns invested a decent amount in him. He has had injury concerns across his entire career, and BG was glowing with praise about how Mark has attacked the offseason.
Well, I think with Mark, our biggest and number one objective was to get his body to the point in terms of strength, mobility, flexibility, where he could perform consistently at the level that he's shown in an inconsistent manner during his first 3 years. He's been with us every day since July 1st. His strength gains in the lower body have been off the chart. His work ethic on a daily basis, off the chart. His attitude, he understood where he was at and where he needed to get to, and he's worked every single day on that. In addition to that, I mentioned it early, how important our human performance group is with that as well, and they've done a tremendous job. The one thing we have to remember about Mark, he's 23 years old. He's got a bright future here in Phoenix. So when it comes to moving in forward, we're going to be strategic, we're going to be smart, but he's in a good place right now. And I think in terms of what he's been through, he's shown glimpses of what he can be, and it's our job to put him mentally and physically in a position to do that on a consistent basis. We're excited about the future with Mark for sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some fun with Mark Williams this season.
I hope so.
So long as he stays healthy. That's the only thing that's in the way of him, the team having fun with him, a center that is young, athletic, and versatile, but also someone that just has a fun personality about his game as well. They need for him to be healthy. They need to hit on that one because they invested a lot in him.
Yeah, they did. And we'll play this for you sometime over the next couple of days, probably tomorrow. But I asked Mark about his approach. And, I was like, hey, Brian Gregory had a glowing review from your offseason. Like, what was different? He didn't necessarily say that he did anything different, but how he did it was a lot more focused. And part of that was a change of scenery. He also, I believe, told Shane Young, I forget who he told. I think it might have been Shane Young about, I knew I was going to get traded from Charlotte. Once you trade me once, I'm going to get traded again.
Yep.
And so he does seem like he has this renewed sense of focus. The last thing that we'll hear from Brian Gregory before we get to Jordan and, of course, Devin Booker and Jalen Green is about some news that came down. It was either yesterday or the day before. But Steve Nash will be taking on an advisory role with the Phoenix Suns, and he was asked, like, what does that mean?
I can only imagine, Dwayne. For me, the first thing with Steve Nash is why. Okay, and Matt kind of said it. Why not? Number one, just his intelligence level is off the chart, and his uncomparable feel for the game and knowledge of the game. The second thing with Steve is, Matt said it, everything that we talk about that we want our players to embody in our identity, that's Steve Nash. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have to look any further than that. And the third thing, why, is the Phoenix Suns mean something to him. So him working for us means a little more, and I like that. The what is he going to do? The insights that he's going to be able to give our coaching staff, our players, and myself are going to be tremendous. I think will be very, very impactful. There's an expertise, there's an ability to analyze, there's an ability to independently evaluate different things, from players to knowledge of the league, players around the league, and so forth. For me, it's exciting. He lives right around the corner. He's been in the gym quite a bit. But maybe the best thing happened, you know, when Steve and I talked, and then we talked with Matt, and we got this thing done. About 2 days later, we were on the phone talking, and he was at one of our open runs and one of our workouts, and just talking about basketball. And he says, we. And I was like, damn. Pretty special, because it's back to we, back to where it belongs. And he's going to make a huge impact for us, not only for me and the rest of our front office, but with Jordan and his staff. We want to bring in highly intelligent, high-character guys, no ego, where the Phoenix Suns mean something, and that's Steve Nash.
Gave me chills when he said, the Phoenix Suns mean something to Steve Nash. I'm like, damn right, Brian. Damn right. I mean, I don't know. I think it was also hilarious, Steve, that he's like, the hell if I know. Like, what was the role? He was like, I'll be interested to find out myself. But, I mean, it can't hurt, right? It can't be really like a negative thing to involve Steve Nash somehow.
I don't think you bring in Steve Nash and the brilliant mind of his and the presence that he has, particularly in this city for this franchise, and put him in a box. And I think giving him a senior advisor role kind of allows for his role to be whatever he wants for it to be. If he wants to be a second or third voice to Jordan Knott in that duo of him and Steve Clifford, he can be that. Nobody's going to bat an eye. If he wants to be someone that's just kind of watching things and talking specifically with the primary ball handlers about leading the offense, the up-tempo offense, nobody's going to bat an eye at that. Like that versatility that he's going to add with the IQ that he has, it's no different than the IQ that he brought, the intangibles he brought to the game when he was on the roster.
Yeah, and people forget, like, obviously the Brooklyn stuff with KD and all that, like the coaching career didn't really go exactly as planned once he got in the big chair. But when he was a coach, or at least like a shooting coach or some type of coach over in Golden State, I mean,
he got a ring off of that.
Like
multiple.
And it'll be great to have a biased Phoenix Suns member in the media, because I do believe he'll still be doing stuff with Amazon. So come on, man, spread the come on Malawatch propaganda, please.
I would say, though, the other part from Brian Gregory, when he's talking with him and I think he said Mat Ishbia in the initial stages after they established the role and they pretty much handshook on it, he mentioned the we part.
Yeah.
That matters.
It does.
Especially from that guy, has reverence immediately walking into the arena and immediately walking into the franchise. That's a guy that needed to be around, for sure.
Yeah. Who do you think wears the pants in the front office? I know it's a good joke when Ayrton laughs off camera. And
maybe he's laughing at my reaction, not the joke itself.
Hey, either way, it's getting a laugh. That's all that really matters. That was Brian Gregory and Mat Ishbia. We spent a whole lot of time on those two, but obviously very interesting stuff. Let's go ahead and dive into Jordan Now, Jordan Ott obviously was asked some more player-specific questions. I did find it interesting. I forget who asked it. My apologies. It's been a long day. But I believe the first or one of the first questions asked was about coaching Dillon Brooks.
I think we've all seen Dillon as an opponent. Actually was in LA, a couple years ago in the playoffs against him, and the edge and competitive spirit that he plays with is unmatched. And just knowing him from afar, we knew that competitive spirit would lift our group. Things we didn't know is his work ethic backs it up. He's not all smoke. I told it right to his face a couple weeks ago. He's an incredible worker, one of the hardest workers I've seen. Talk about 2-a-days. He was in there again last night. He lifts our group on the floor when he's there, in the building when he's there. Every night to go to war with someone like that is going to help not only Book, but also our young guys and show them the way that this is the way that we have to be. Again, and a competitive advantage of ours is outwork, outplay, how hard we can play. He's going to be the leader of that every night, and it's good to have him on our team.
Yeah, I think he makes a great point in the Dillon Brooks of it all. Someone that is that enforcer type guy, Jay Crowder, PJ Tucker, those guys you wouldn't really want to see when they're not on your team, and when they're on the team that you either coach with or you support or cover, you see them in a completely different lens. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a form of leadership in and of itself.
Speaking of seeing people in a completely different lens, am I alone in thinking that he came off like 10 times more confident today than in his intro press conference? Like, may I be so brave as to say, Ayrton, maybe you can back me up here. He had aura today. Like I'm being like semi-serious here. But I do feel like the introductory press conference.
So your aura really stood out to me on media day. Okay, bro.
Coach, speak to me about your aura. Is this an intentional aura building? Are you aura maxing right now, Coach? No, but okay. So I will say this. In his intro press conference, no, I don't think timid is the right word, but maybe a little shell shocked, like this moment. Oh my God, like coming to terms with everything. Like this is crazy. As soon as he sat down today, he was in control of the room. Right. And you saw a little bit more of like that leadership factor. And when you hear all these guys talking about how Jordan Ott is talking about, hey, this and how you're going to use like that. Like I asked Grayson Allen about it. And as soon as I said the name, I'm not even kidding. And I tweeted this. As soon as I said the name Jordan Ott, he goes, Grayson Allen just starts smiling. Mm-hmm. Just a big smile the entire time. And usually people don't smile when I ask them questions or speak to them in general. So that was a pretty big deal. I feel
most
like
players don't smile when you mention their head coach's name, like, and that's not even a disrespectful or negative thing. It's just like whatever. That man literally started glowing up
for sure. and talk about like the work and everybody mentioned, well, I come here for 2 days. I'm here at 9:00 at night, and that was a big theme is that everybody's always in the gym all the time, and they've never seen that many like full members of the roster all in the gym at the same time over the summer. And everybody said, anytime I was here, Jordan Ott was here all the time, right? So I find that fascinating in the fact of like, hopefully that relays to success, but a lot of the times it does. And I don't think a small part in this kind of culture building and this, hey, we're going to shock the world and this confidence is the fact that you can look at your head coach and not only have confidence in him, but something that, Kenny Atkinson told me is he's very good at relating with the players, right? And being personable. And you could tell he's a basketball sicko, but not in a sense where he like disregards the personal side of things.
I say this with much respect. When the bar is as low as it is, stemming from everything that was last season.
What do you mean?
Yes. When it's that, and you have somebody that's just in their nature is just so contrasting to that, the whole opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like that shifts things. That makes you want to go and do that second shift later on, getting that second workout in. For sure. And to that point, the listening to him part, one of the best ways to get buy-in into someone?
Money.
Naturally. But that's aligned with what I'm speaking to. If you as a coach can show someone that you can make them better.
Sure.
And not just be word salad, but I can, in my introduction to you, have 10 clips of either your game or pieces of my system where your game fits. And I can show you routes to success so long as you stay bought into it before I say hi, basically, and then get to know you after we look at the film. Like, that sets a different precedent. And imagine that being met every single day. Every time you talk to this dude, he's coming to you with something new or coming to you with something else that he realized about your game, and how he can make you better. You talk about the best way to get somebody to buy into you is if you can get them more money. You can give people more money by making them better basketball players.
Absolutely. The thing as well is, and if we're comparing and contrasting here, last year at Media Day, Bradley Beal said that Mike Budenholzer literally pulled him to the side and was like, you need to shoot threes. And he showed him parts of his game. It was like, you should have taken the three here. You shouldn't have passed up for the three here. You should have, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Then Mike Budenholzer reportedly later tells him to go be Drew Holiday, right? You could tell how Brad reacted differently to those two things with the same coach, right? Mm-hmm. The first one, when Mike Budenholzer backed it up with like, hey, this I'm showing you what I'm saying and I'm telling you how that affects the team, there's buy-in, right? With Jordan Ott, it's, like I am a basketball genius. And I know he probably doesn't want people to say that, but like he should be a basketball genius. Any NBA head coach should be a basketball genius.
Anybody coming from that film room is.
For real. You show somebody that side of you, but you also like show them the fact that, hey, I'm not gonna just be like robotic sicko. I'm gonna ask you for your opinion.
I'm still a human,
right? I'm gonna be like, hey, what do you want to do? Because maybe analytically and statistically you should take the three here, but in your own brain, that if you're able to actually get a layup and it can set you up and make you feel better, then maybe we'll take a lower percentage shot, but leading to better percentages later. So it all of these layers and layers and layers show when he also talks about, the big guys and how he's going to use the point guards and Booker and Jalen and all of that. And we're going to get to that. But of course, we're going to do it in overtime. If you are watching on TV, the party always continues over at gophnx.com. You can become a member today by hitting that join button. You can become a subscriber by hitting that subscribe button. You can become a diehard by scanning the little thing that's going to pop up on your screen here or going to gophnx.com/join. You can hit the like button. And of course, you can follow us on socials. If you want to get even more answers from people from throughout the day, of course, we'll bring you down with live shows tomorrow and on Friday. But if you want some more full press conferences, we'll post that here on YouTube. And of course, we have clips up on our socials at PHNX_Suns. Let's talk about how Jordan Ott is planning on using his very deep, very unique center rotation.
We'll start with Kaman. We were extremely excited about him as a player. Again, I'll talk about the person and the spirit. You guys are going to see it. You're going to see it at practice. You're going to see today when you talk to him. He's an incredible way about him because of his experiences. And then at the same time, we have to understand he's 19 years old. He's only spent 1 year in college basketball. I think we saw it a little bit in Summer League. He's going to have incredible plays that only he can make. And then he's going to have some spots where he has a long way to go. Part of that is off the court in the weight room. And he's done a great job in the last couple of months adding strength to a spot now where he's getting there. But we do have to have some grace with Kaman. And for that reason, we're happy with our center depth, led by Mark. Nick and Oso all have had really good summers. We're in a good spot with our center depth. Extremely excited to see how it all plays out in camp and then into the regular season.
Yeah, I think not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but Nick Richards mentioned that they're going to be using their centers in a way unique from the ways in which they were featured last season. With that featuring uniquely is also going to be a demand on them in terms of their skill development to produce to the ways that they need to. But I think Kaman mixed in that group and him being kind of a microcosm of what Jordan Ott speaking to and what Nick was speaking to, they're ready for that challenge. And I think for Kaman, it's just going to take a little bit of time, honestly. It's clear that there's belief in him from everybody in the room, but they also acknowledge that it's going to come with having to extend some grace in terms of time.
It is what it is with Kaman. Hopefully he can, give you something this year, but if he can't, you do have options, right? You throw Oso in there as well. Maybe Ryan can be a small ball 5 at times. Maybe Rasheer can be a small ball 5 at times as well. Like you really do have a lot of options. And one of the things that you don't really have is an absolute true point guard. And that is something that Jordan Ott talked about today.
I just think the game has changed. It's changed overall. We all see it. What the traditional point guard looked like 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, is drastically different than what it is today. I think when you scouting or you turn on the TV and you watch every night, the size of the playmaker or the initiator of the offense is different every night. Some guys are 7 feet tall initiating the offense, and some are your, smaller, 6'4", 6'7". The sizes are all over the place. Part of the offense is we want to play fast. In order to play fast, you need to have multiple ball handlers. The other part of the offense is we're going to play fast and play in concepts, so we have to have solutions on whatever coverage is being played against us. And some nights on how they're going to play Jalen and Book, it may entail someone else creating that first domino or that first advantage. So the game is shifting. I think we're extremely lucky to have some depth in that guard position. I'm interested to see how it does play out in the preseason, but it's also our job as coaches to fit the play style and what we do offensively around the guys that we have. And for that, we're lucky. We're very lucky that we do have multiple ball handlers. It's going to put some of those guys in a position that they haven't been in, and that part is exciting. And we're all going to try to find solutions that best fits us to win that night.
And like multiple people mentioned, Grayson spoke in great detail to it. If you want to play fast, it can't just be we only have one person that's capable of bringing the ball with the floor. And if it's not that person, then our offense is offensive rather than productive. You can't, there's no way to get there with only having one person that's capable of it. And again, not to get ahead of ourselves, but back to what Nick Richards mentioned, there's going to be some bigs that are bringing the ball up the court at times in terms of grabbing goals. I think Oso Iguodala might have mentioned it to me as well. If you want to play fast, there's ways that you have to go about it that last season's team did not. Devin Booker mentioned the hit-ahead passes. That's something they did early in the season that just evaporated after about 2.5 months. On top of the layer of not having front court players that were being implored to push the pace after they grab rebounds. So talk about learning from mistakes, not repeating those. It's clear that Jordan Ott has a clear-cut path to success for them to do it with this roster he has right now.
Yeah, and he's going to have a clear-cut path to how is he going to use Devin Booker. That's going to be, if we're talking about the iceberg, right? That's the tip of the iceberg. That's the thing, and then everything else kind of falls down in between. I don't know if I use that analogy the right way, but we're going to roll with it.
No, we understood what you meant.
I'd hope
it's okay.
so.
It's okay.
I hope
it's okay.
so.
Don't acknowledge it. Keep going.
No, it's one of those things where it's I could have just let it go. But then I'm thinking about it. I'm if I was listening to this right now, I'd be that guy's an idiot. So I want to make people know that I also understand that I am an idiot. But Jordan Ott's not an idiot, and this is how he said that he plans to involve Devin Booker.
Yeah, I think Matt said it, how lucky he is. How lucky am I? The first-year head coach to have a superstar, a guy that's proven in the league, the guy that's done it at every single level, NBA, Olympics, that's a blessing. And I think whatever's happened in the past has happened in the past. This is his team. And we're lucky, again, that he not only plays for the Phoenix Suns, he wants to live here. I've been around the different teams. To have your superstar in the state, in the city, in the gym is a major luxury for us. We talk about how the gym is felt and guys being in there to work. It starts at the top. And without his commitment, with us in Phoenix, with the Phoenix Suns, extremely, extremely grateful to him and looking forward to continue to build our relationship and see how this, preseason into the regular season goes. And he's going to be a great partner for us as we go forward.
Yeah, that's the part that I spoke to a little bit earlier in the show is Brian Gregory mentioning how lucky he is to be a GM with Devin Booker as the franchise player, and Jordan Ott immediately starting his answer to that question with that as well. There's a lot that they can do with Devin Booker, and I feel like Jordan Ott is looking to not only acknowledge that, but also be in partnership with Devin Booker and seizing and getting the absolute most of that. The best thing a coach can do is maximize the talent on the roster. That's not always going to look the same every season, but if you have a consistent best player or one of your best players is Devin Booker, your book is open as far as that goes. No pun intended.
When'd you come up with that one?
Off the top of the dome.
That's pretty good.
It's easy.
That was the tip of the iceberg right there. Well, Jordan Ott talked about Devin Booker. Devin Booker was asked about being in the interview process with Jordan Ott, and Here's what he had to say.
It was quick. It was probably 20 minutes before they did their real meeting. But we just we broke bread a little bit. Showed me some film, and I was just as impressed with the way he sees the game evolving and the game changing, and understanding that something that might have worked 2 years before could be totally different now. So the ability to do that is not just watching your team or who you're playing against, but looking around the league and seeing the nuances and details that teams are using to be successful. Because there's a few recipes out there. There's not only one, but knowing what they are is step one.
I like how he's like, yeah, before they had the real meeting. But listen, Jordan Knott's not here without the Devin Booker cosign at all. And I know we were going to save this one for last, but I kind of teased it earlier. I think this quote here from Book is probably the quote of Media Day. And he was just talking about why sign your extension in Phoenix? Like, this is an age of superstars that change teams and an age of teams that move superstars. Why stay in the Valley?
But like I just said, man, from being at the bottom and almost getting the job done, I have unfinished business here, and I know how much it would mean to this city and this organization. So, that's my job. As a leader, it's my responsibility of being a franchise player that, I have to communicate to everybody, the importance of basketball in this town and, how serious we take it.
Unfinished business.
Yeah.
Steven.
Indeed.
It's true.
That's the mindset you want from the captain of your ship. That's the mindset you want for your franchise player. Acknowledging, I think he did at multiple points that they got close in 21, but he got an idea of what it looks like. And wanting to get back there with this franchise for this city and to serve this community in the ways in which he can play a role in doing that. That's, again, the things you want to hear from your franchise player. Yeah,
I mean, Devin Booker is this franchise. Devin Booker is the city. I'd say he's embraced the city. And obviously, I'm speaking from a term of who I've seen and whatnot, but I feel like he's embraced the city more so than any other superstar in their prime. Like, there are guys who have embraced the city after the fact and have, had long careers here after the fact, whether it's in media or just with the organization, whether it's, a Tom Chambers or an Alvin Adams, right? But as far as currently, while you're on the team, like Devin Booker has completely encapsulated what it is to be a Phoenician, what it is to live here, what it is to love basketball here. And it's important to keep him around. It's also important for Book. We'll go through some more stuff of what he said here. He got a lot of questions about leadership, about how different it might be from last year if they were disconnected. It was an overarching theme, so we put together a little montage of all of his answers about how he is going to be using his voice and his leadership this season.
My voice, yeah. The leadership aspect is going to be more important than ever this year. Just realizing our roster, the age of our roster, and just the experience that I've had and what I've seen. So I'm going to do what I can. I'm always going to use my voice. I feel like I used my voice a lot last year too, but we just fell short. It wasn't as connected as we wanted to be. I don't think anybody had problems with each other off the court. We just simply weren't connected enough.
Go to David Brant.
Hey, Devin, over here. I know you have all the respect in the world for Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, but kind of going off that leadership question, is it easier to impose your will, impose your direction now that you're really the unquestioned leader of the franchise again?
I mean, we'll see. I'm going to use my voice always. If I say something, if I feel something is going to be beneficial for the team, and especially with this team now for the growth of any young player, and I've been around these guys a lot. They're already hitting me with the right questions. But yeah, it was tough. I think just not getting to where we wanted to with Kevin and Bragg, two guys that I have a high respect for and always will. the opportunity to play alongside them was, a lot in its own, but, it'll always be a disappointment to me to, not do what, we all sought out to do.
I mean, I think when you hear him say, "Yeah, we were disconnected," right? We all knew that.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't breaking news to anybody, but it still hits a little different when you hear it from Devin Booker. And I really have a problem with people, and I think Book kind of pushed back on too, assuming that he wasn't using his voice. When again, the reports was that he was using his voice so much that Mike Budenholzer literally said, hey man, could you stop, please? You're kind of harsh in the vibe over here, which rightfully so, by the way, he was. So
he started writing on the wall if they kept going that course.
Right.
Sure enough.
It's nice to hear Devin talk about that as a past tense thing.
I think he if he didn't learn, because a lot of things he probably already knew. Like if you just put a blindfold over him and you said, hey, if you have this talent on this roster, but X, Y, Z, and ABC happens, what do you think the result of the season is going to be? He wouldn't be surprised that they finished significantly lower than where they were supposed to in terms of expectations. So I'm not saying that he learned something new, but it's one thing to know something. It's another thing to have to go through that. And it just kind of fortifies why you have standards. And when standards have to be met, you see what the results kind of usually glean from. But when you don't, you see what happens on the other side of that. He doesn't want to see the other side of that, I imagine. This is a player that's firmly in the middle of his prime at this point. Now, he's someone that probably has a 7 or 8 year prime within him, so he's probably still got a handful of years, especially for as great a scorer as he is. But he's not in the business of wasting time at this point, I imagine. And having the steps backwards that they took with all of that talent they had last season is just unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of seasons have been completely unacceptable. But, Devin Booker's been through hardship before. In fact, one of the things that I found really interesting today was Espo asked him about, you are the vet now, but you have learned from guys like Tyson Chandler, like PJ Tucker. What are you taking from them, and how are you passing that on to the next generation?
I'd say just being a professional, no matter what's going on. And obviously those early years weren't the prettiest either. Just still sticking with it, not getting caught up in whatever it is, if it's media, if it's whatever's going on in the locker room. You just have to continue to get better. And there was a lot going on early in my career, but, I was able to keep the main thing, keep it tunnel vision and, continue to work. And although we didn't get it done in 21, I was able to see it go from the bottom to, almost the top. And, it wasn't easy, but just understanding that it's an everyday grind and it starts right now.
It's been a long career for Devin Booker.
Crazy enough, it really has been.
Year 11.
But it's the high variance within that, bro. He's been just solid through and through, but that's a lot for 11 years. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot, man.
You come in the league and you're off the bench, and then you're a starter on some of the worst teams in franchise history. Then you're the best player on a fun team, and then you are the number one option, which is something that I think we need to talk about here in a second, for a team that goes to the finals. And then you get a big three. The big three fails. It flames out. You trade a superstar. You're the embarrassment of the league. It's been so up and down, but he's been steady all the way through. And hopefully in the end, you talk about, and I know they're different players, right? And Dirk won an MVP. Dirk is a better basketball player. But you look at Dirk's career, right? And the high highs and the low lows in different ways, but still just really, really crazy variance. And he took little lessons throughout it. And then at the end of his career, at least near the end of his career, it all came together in one magical run. And he was, he had the wherewithal to stay with one franchise, and it ended up with a ring. And Devin Booker just has to hope that is what's in the cards for him. But we got Jackie Daytona in the chat talking about how ESPN is already disrespecting Book. Steven, you brought this to my attention when we were playing one of the last videos.
Yeah. So I don't want to go too far with it because I would like to be able to hear exactly what it is that Kendrick Perkins is mentioning. But the quote from Kendrick Perkins on the NBA Today show is that it's time for Devin Booker to show the world that he belongs, end quote. Now, like I said, I don't want to get too far into that. And as I'm speaking it, I'm seeing clips of that 21 finals run happening, specifically in the playoffs. He's been here.
He's literally made it farther than Anthony Edwards is the number one option.
That's my thing.
This decade.
That's my thing, right? Like, Ant's been sensational the last 2 years. Devin Booker's been great for at least the last 4 or 5 years. So for half of the time that Anthony Edwards has been in this perennial elite level, Devin Booker's been there for at least double that time. While also, while we're on the topic, since we're talking about the two players also having started over Edwards in Team USA.
Sure.
Now, obviously, that's for fit and role reasons, but again, these are dudes we're talking about. We're not just talking about casual basketball players that are just decent in the NBA. We're talking about the best of the best.
Yeah.
There's reasons why he was there in that group in particular. And I don't know, I just feel like things are becoming so what have you done lately that people kind of forget about the sustained level that a player has still been at.
Sure.
We all acknowledge, even Devin Booker himself, that he wasn't his best self last season.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do that while also ignoring that he did also have a career best season in terms of playmaking, which is very important to the role and the style of basketball that he plays with the usage that he has. Like, he hasn't just fallen off a cliff or something like that. So I don't like that phrasing, like showing the world that he belongs as if he has something to prove.
Yeah.
He proved his point 4 years ago now.
It's also like, look, man, you want to say that Anthony Edwards is better than Devin Booker. That's your prerogative, right? I mean, Anthony Edwards to some people is playing like a top 5 player in the league right now. He's a number 1 overall pick. He's clearly an extremely good basketball player, right? There are 3 players who have, the claim to be the best shooting guard in the league if you're putting Shea at point guard. It's Donovan Mitchell, it's Anthony Edwards, and it's Devin Booker. And if you want to pick one of them over the other ones and you give legitimate reasons and you don't tear the other ones down, I mean, totally fine, right? We did our top 10 list. There's nuance, there's conversations, there are things that each player does better than the other, so on and so forth, whatever, right? Disingenuous takes like this, like Devin Booker needs to prove that he could be the number 1 on a team. Literally, he has, right? You are trying to tear down a player by saying he cannot do something that he has done on a high level to the finals. Anthony Edwards has made it to back-to-back Western Conference finals. That is awesome for a player at this point in his career. That's great for him. He has not made it as far as Devin Booker as a number 1 option. He just hasn't. So to me, it's like you want to talk about this or that or put Ant or Donovan Mitchell or Booker above, like whatever. I'm riding with Book. I think right now, obviously, Anthony Edwards is a better basketball player. I still want Devin Booker on my franchise because I'm a Book apologist and it is what it is. But obviously, from an actual NBA perspective, like there are very few players you wouldn't trade for Anthony Edwards right now. But I hate the disingenuous argument. I hate it. It's like, it's so boring and stupid and lazy.
I don't disagree with you at all.
This conversation is how you know the NBA is so back.
Yeah. I saw the somebody quote tweeted a start bench cut between James Harden, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Tracy McGrady and just said 1 month, guys. Like 1 month. Which, by the way, easiest start bench cut of all time. I love Tracy. I love T-Mac. But like, you're talking James Harden on the Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon on the Rockets, or Tracy McGrady on the Rockets? Yeah. An MVP, a 2-time champion, 2-time finals MVP, and respectfully, Tracy McGrady.
A great scorer.
Great. One of the most fun players of all time. Anyway.
I think Tracy McGrady is vastly underrated for his ability to put the ball in the basket. That being said, there's a gap between him and James Harden and then there's a gap between Harden and Hakeem Olajuwon.
And that's what we're breaking down on PHNX Suns Media Day edition, presented by our friends
It's HOU
over at HSTN.
Yeah, HSTN. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I've thought about man, what would our abbreviation be in other cities?
I have too.
HSTN, like MPLS for if it's like Minneapolis. Like I've thought about for every single city. Wickenburg. What do you think it'd be for Wickenburg? That's a tough one.
WICK. That's the
Wick.
easiest it gets.
Yeah. Berg.
Catch us on the Wick.
Catch us on the Berg. All right, guys.
Let's
Hear from Jalen Green, shall we? I'll wrap things up here with Jalen Green. Extra long edition of PHNX Suns. We'll be back tomorrow at 3, live at 3 on Friday, bringing you the rest from Media Day. Mark Williams, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal, Kaman, Rashir, Nigel Hayes Davis.
That's man to you.
And no, we're not friends like that. Not yet. But once me and him take a trip up to Wickenburg, we will be all good. Okay. Jalen Green. Steven, you want to kind of preface this one? This was your question that you asked him.
Yeah, so I'm in the process of putting together a Jalen Green film session. Hopefully that's up to you guys in the next week or so, if not sooner. But kind of in alignment with me going through that and just kind of looking at things and his ups and downs last season. One of the things that stood out was just the ways he was used and how I imagine, and also watching film from the Cavaliers last season to see what Jordan Knott might be bringing to the Suns, how you kind of bring both of those worlds together. And the best thing a coach can do, like I mentioned earlier in this show, is to maximize his process in respect to the players that he has on the roster. Jalen Green being one of those pieces. Here's what Jalen Green in particular had to say about that.
I think space is the most important thing. He's emphasized that to me and made that very clear that, he wants to play with a lot of space. And, I think the way we want to play and the play style that we trying to play like this year, the space is going to be the key to everything. And, playing fast and playing hard and getting out and running.
So defenses are not going to just concede space to you. Just a peek into my mind, just watching a game, especially live in real time, and then if you go back and watch it, it's a constant fight for space. Offensive players are trying to create space. Defensive players are working to take away that space. How can you create that space around to get the best out of someone like Jalen Green so he doesn't have to see as much help? Moving players around the chessboard. Might have to do some things that might look like action, but it's just something to occupy the attention of multiple defenders so that he can go and get past his initial matchup without having to worry about that next layer of help right away. I think that's something that's really going to help Jalen Green on the hashtag efficiency part that everybody likes to speak to with this game.
Wow. Hashtag efficiency. I asked Jalen, what have you been working on? You analyze your game, going into this new situation, this new offense. What have you taken the time this summer to work on? And out of all the clips that I posted on social, this was definitely the one that got the most negative reaction.
I've been working on my in-between game a lot more. The mid-range, float, just that in-between game because, as the season went on, it was either 3 years to the cup and, they was forcing me to have to score that in-between game, not allowing me to get all the way to the rim. And they would take away the three a lot more. So, yeah, just trying to have an in-between game, be a full, complete three-level scorer, and then just reads, the simple reads, corner, pocket pass, things like that. So just trying to be all-around complete for when it comes to the playoff situation again.
Good question.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You said capital J journalism right
Broken
there.
Clock is right twice a day. Jalen, who would you say wears the pants?
I just told him, I couldn't even 5 seconds. Bro. 5 seconds, bro.
Anyway, you were saying?
I was trying to tell you a good question, and then you went on and did that. That's
Thanks,
all
man.
I had for you, and then that
was it?
Made me want to snatch it back.
We can't. I already took it. Put it in the pants that I'm wearing in this podcast.
Oh my god.
Okay. How do you feel about the reaction?
Man.
How do you feel about the reaction? Not your reaction.
No,
to
I
me.
love it. No, I love it.
You
love
like
it.
you like
I
the
love it.
you like the reaction to what he said or what he said?
I like what he said because and I'm in the process. Like I said, I'm getting ready to put this film session down in the next handful of days. What I'm watching from him is miss window to make a pocket pass that leads to a drive where he gets double teamed at the rim and it leads to a turnover. A missed pass to the second side that leads to a contested 2 where he could have took that shot 2 dribbles before he got to the point where he got contested. Like these little moments that every guard goes through when you go from getting one-on-one coverage, showing that you beat one-on-one coverage whenever teams give that to you only, to now they have to invest more defensive capital to take things away from you, take pockets away, take your rhythm away. That comes with more responsibility. There's this kind of back and forth there that comes with the growth part. That's why I feel like he can learn a lot from Devin Booker because he's already gone through what he's getting ready to go through now. And to that point, Jalen having the answer of, yeah, working on my in-between game. If teams want to play these soft double teams with me where they're not just outright blitzing me like they do with Devin Booker, but they're just kind of funneling me to another help defender, what if you want to funnel me and play me from behind and I got someone like Draymond in front of me? I just take 2 dribbles and I pull up. Or I'll play off of a pump fake, and then I hit the pocket pass. Now Draymond just stepped over to me, and now LP's playing in a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2 on the backside. That's manipulating the game right there. That's the next step for him. Understanding what coverages he's seeing and playing chess with those people and putting his teammates in a position to be successful.
But like you get why people didn't
of
like
course.
it, right?
And
Okay,
I'm trying to explain why it's right
part,
for him to say that.
The making reads part's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's good, actually. You know, especially
he
if
has
he's
to
going to be
do
playing
Absolutely.
Point guard in air quotes for this team. The mid-range game, statistically speaking, is the weakest part of his game. Now, would it make sense that you work on the weakest part of your game? For sure, right? But I think a lot of Suns fans, and we've even talked about it on the show over the summer, is like, how do you get the best out of Jalen Green? Well, you got to eliminate some of these bad shots. Now, is the work enough work to turn those bad shots into you can't go from bad to good or great, right? Can we turn them into okay shots, right? Not terrible efficiency, right? You hit some of them, it's a counter that you have. I think the fear is, okay, well now Jalen Green's only going to be operating out of the mid-range, which is not something that, statistically speaking, plays to his strengths as of what we have seen from him in his career. Right.
But I'm speaking in response to the comprehensive response that he gave. So he talked about working on this mid-range game, but he also talked about playmaking, finding windows, seeing gaps.
Again, and in the playmaking part,
sure.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm speaking
which
is what most people are going to comment on, which is that first part.
For sure. So shame on me for not thinking from the perspective of everybody else and me thinking for myself. My bad. I'm sorry. I was looking at it that way. I understand and I hear what people are saying about the mid-range shot, but when you get to the playoffs, you get to the final 5 minutes of a close game, the shot that's typically one that helps to dictate to a defense is the shot that they're conceding. So if the shot that you can take and make with confidence is one that's a baked-in counterpunch to what a defense is trying to take away or a defense is conceding, that's putting you in position to be successful. Chris Paul, Kevin Durant. He might not be one of those guys, but even if he is someone that can knock down the midi to the extent of a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and it's just a counterpunch.
I'm sorry, did we just literally talk about 3 of like the best mid-range shooters?
Shai can't be a best mid-range shooter of all time.
Not all time, but he's one of the best in the game right now. Those are completely different.
But when did he start? But when did he start actually taking the midi though? Over the last couple of seasons, it was early on. This is not a good shot. So now Shai's one of the best drivers in the league. Now teams are loading up in the gaps to take away his drives.
We can talk about them on the same trajectory. I really do.
But it's not even about the trajectory part because maybe he never becomes Shai. Few players in the history of the game will become Shai. What I'm speaking to is the build-up to it. Shai gets to the point of becoming one of the best drivers in the game. You have to be able to counterpunch. Teams know you're a great driver. They know that's at the top of the scouting report. You have to have a pull-up three-pointer in your bag, and you have to have a midi pull-up to counterpunch. Now, look at the discernment of when Shai is taking those shots. Is he going to that right away, or is he setting it up with drive after drive after drive? So now defenders are opening their hips and they're opening the gate to meet him at the block, and then he pulls back. And now he's shooting that shot with a specific timing, and there's a rhythm to it.
Sure.
I think the rhythm part is where Jalen is going to start to understand the feel for the game dynamic more. But you can't get to that point without getting through, man, I took a season's worth of bad shots at moments. Maybe I can make a pocket pass here. Maybe I can slow it down a little bit or reset things. Like, I think that discernment part is important. All I'm saying is watch the film session that's coming out soon. I think you'll better understand Jalen Green's game, the faults that he made, and how easy it's going to be for him to grow in that just by simply playing more games, getting more reps as a primary piece.
I'll watch. I'll also hit the like button. Meatloaf says, what's up, Suns fans? What did we learn today? Let's talk about that in a second. The last thing I want to say on this Green thing is I think multiple things can be true at the same time.
For sure.
It's not just like a black and white issue. All right. Thing that can be true, number one, is that it's important for Jalen Green to improve his mid-range game, to work on his mid-range game, to get that to a point where it can be a successful counter. It can be a successful go-to, along with the three ball, which he's not afraid to shoot a lot, and along with driving to the rim, which he's not afraid to do a lot. If he can become a complete offensive player from a scoring avenue and then also go and make reads off of that as well, we are talking about one of the best players in the NBA if you mix that in with his athleticism and his intangibles.
Sure.
Right? At least one of the best offensive players in the NBA. Right? That is true. What is also true is that this is a guy, in at least his previous situation, that did not show one of the main features of his offensive game should be the mid-range shot. Can that change? Yes. But based off the last 4 seasons, he has not been somebody who has been efficient. In fact, he's been extremely inefficient in the mid-range game, despite being extremely efficient at creating shots. So these two things can live at the same time. I understand the reaction, and I agree with most of what you're saying. I just think that realistically speaking, the step for Jalen is not to get to a point where it's, man, that mid-range is a for real weapon. It's to where it's not a liability anymore. Because what it has been, at least statistically speaking, obviously on a game-to-game basis, there are going to be games where this isn't true. But overall, for a season-wide perspective, the mid-range game has been one of his biggest weaknesses and biggest liabilities on offense so far throughout his career.
And my thing is, to provide the context, we have our first context mention of today's show.
Wow,
an
hour
and a half in. So good job on me for that. My reason, that's growth. My reason in saying that is what I've been mentioning with Jalen Green since the trade happened is with Jordan not in the head coaching spot, challenging him in his thinking of the game, taking more shots that he knows he's going to make versus taking shots that he thinks that he can make. There's a difference between those two. One is surefire, I'm taking this shot because I know it's going in. The other one is just taking it because, you didn't really have too much of a plan and you just kind of fall into it by happenstance. I think he's going to get to a point where he's starting to have a better feel and understanding of his game. So applying that to the mid-range shot, I feel like a lot of those shots that he was taking was because, for one, he was on a team that didn't have a real pecking order in terms of scoring. He was the dude. If you're the dude, you're going to be given a significantly more green light, more real estate to work with on that. It's going to be more refined with the Suns, and I think because it's going to be more refined, he'll be selecting his spots more efficiently, more effectively.
Yeah. Devontae says, we need him to play to his strengths, which is getting to the basket and opening up the floor for Booker. I don't disagree with that either. I think another reason why people are upset about the mid-range stuff is because it's like, okay, well, we just had another shooting guard that shoots mid-range shots. Yeah. Right? We needed somebody to put pressure on the rim. We need somebody to shoot those threes. I think you can tightrope this. You can balance this. You can, see that you're working on your mid-range, but at the end of the day, work within an offensive system of threes and paint touches, which isn't just like an OT thing. It's not just like a Suns thing. It's an NBA thing at this point.
But the thing with comparing it to last season or the past 2 seasons and this season, outside of Devin Booker and Jalen Green, who else is taking mid-range shots on this roster?
Nick Richards.
And that's going to be 1 attempt a game?
Messing around.
No, it's true.
No, I hear you.
He's going to be the only person that's taking a midi.
Legit mid-range shooters. Book.
Everybody else is going to be 3 and D. So you need someone else in your shot profile that's going to be able to throw a curveball.
Dylan Brooks is going to take some very ill-advised post fadeaways.
He'll take some post fades for sure, but it won't be to the volume or extent that those two guys are between Devin Booker and Jalen Green. And that's my thing. shot profile wise for the team and for those two players individually. That's a good shot for those two guys because of the coverages that they're going to be seeing that won't always allow for them to get all the way to the rim.
Yeah.
So if they do their work in the right way and they take those shots in the correct rhythm, I just don't see it being an issue. And for Jalen Green, it's going to be less of those shots on the table naturally because for the first time in his career, he's going to be a true number 2.
Jackie Daytona, not only great chats today, but also a $5 donation to Big Brothers Big Sisters of America.
Appreciate
Hit that
that,
donate
Jackie.
button. Help us get closer to our goal and raise a lot of money for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. Meatloaf asks.
Devontae, good point with also on the floaters. He'll take a couple of those.
That's not a mid.
It won't be
not a mid-range shot though.
I hear you.
Devontae.
Some of the ones he took were around the free throw line to Devontae's point, but I hear you.
Do you think he could take a floater from the free throw line when he gets fouled, and would he shoot a higher percentage?
Listen, if that floater from 3 is going down, take it.
Hey, pop quiz. Who shot
Change the
worse?
game.
Who shot worse at the free throw line? Ryan Dunn or Oso Godaro last year? Pop quiz, percentage-wise.
Ryan Dunn was worse from the free throw line last year, wasn't he?
Ayrton? Yeah, Ryan Dunn.
Mm-hmm. That's got to change for sure.
Oh,
it was in the 60s.
I think it was lower than all of that.
For Ryan
I think
Dunn?
Ryan Dunn shot 48% from the free throw line last year. Let's fact check this. Maybe I'm wrong. 48.7% from the free throw line for Ryan Dunn last year.
Yeah.
48.7%. Oso Godaro? Any guesses?
68.
I think also got to the 70s. He was like 71.
Guys, you guys have rose-colored glasses on. 58% from the line for Oso Godaro.
Well, he wasn't there often.
No, neither was Ryan. Neither was Ryan.
Ryan was there significantly more than Oso.
Let's see.
was,
Oso, free throw attempts per game, 0.8 free throw attempts per game, shooting 58%. Ryan was 0.7. Oh, no, sorry, 1.2. 1.2.
Yeah.
So he averaged 0.3 more attempts per game, basically won a game, and shot 48% from the line. Yeah, not great. I don't know why I brought that up. Hey, big shout out to Big Red 6, who became a member, an MVP. That is big time, big time. Thank you so much. Now you can use all sorts of different emojis and get some exclusive content as well. Meatloaf asks earlier, after, of course, saying, let's hit the likes. These guys do an awesome job every day, not just media day. Thank you, Meatloaf. Also asked, what did we learn today? So, Steven, what did you learn today?
Yeah, I learned that this team is aligned, and that's not for the kind of funny, fun-loving nature that word has been thrown around since Brian Gregory's introductory to the team. This is something that they genuinely all have a belief in. They were speaking the same language. A lot of them had the same disposition in response to certain questions about expectations and routes to success relative to the expectations that they have. And there's a still confidence about pretty much everybody they got to speak today, even including the front office executives and Jordan Knott himself at the head coaching spot. So I'm very curious to see how that's gonna play out. I think they'll be fun, and I think they'll have some confidence about them because of those things and that buy-in factor.
Ayrton, what did you learn today?
I think the biggest theme that I picked up on was definitely pace. It seems like they're gonna emphasize pace like no other this season. I know watching last year, Booker a lot of the times would get the ball over half court with like 18 seconds, 14 seconds left on the shot clock, and it'd be like not enough time to run offense. It'd end up just being a whatever mid-range by Kevin Durant or by Booker, and I mean, good shots for them, not good shots for this team. So I think obviously you can say a lot of words, like word salad is what media day is, but I really think that pace is going to be something that we can tangibly see both on the court and with stats.
That's great. Great points from both of you. I learned a lot about myself today. I learned that I'm unrecognizable without a hat, so at least I have a brand. To the point where they will be like, we weren't going to let you ask a question of me today because I was sitting next to him, and they still didn't recognize me. Probably the tan I got while I was in New York. Why are you laughing? Stop laughing.
Tan in New York. I don't think those have ever been.
I don't think Tan and Eric Rubio have ever been in the same sentence together either. I learned that when I wear really white shirts, I make them look gray. I learned that I wear the pants in this podcast. And What did Jackie say?
I learned that someone actually likes
likes
the gray jerseys. Looking at you, Freckle Mamba.
Yeah.
I love the gray jerseys. I don't like them. I love them.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely insane.
Stop saying that out loud, bro.
It's bad.
Keep that
It's
to
bad.
yourself, man.
Let's see, what else did I learn about myself today? I think that's about all the introspective stuff I've learned today. About the team, though, I learned, or I guess reinforced to myself, that I'm going to enjoy this season a whole lot more than the last two. And I think it's very funny when you look at the rosters and the general vibe around Media Day this year compared to last year. The last couple of years, the media days were so hype, were so big. You're hearing from Kevin Durant. You're hearing from Bradley Beal. You're hearing from Devin Booker, from Budenholzer, from Vogel. There's this big upswing and energy. And this year, it's like you're hearing from Jordan Ott, who's never coached a game in his life. You're hearing from Jalen Green, who got bounced in the first round of the playoffs last year, right? You're hearing from Brian Gregory, who's never been a GM before either. Like it genuinely feels like they are going to have fun this season, and they're going to work hard this season, and they are going to make us proud. And maybe it's just lip service, as a famous Phoenix Suns coach once said. Well done is better than well said.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope we don't look back at this media day like we have the last couple of years and say, well, that was all bullshit. I really, really hope that we don't get there. I don't think we will, but I didn't think we will last time, which means I'm just excited for basketball. Game number 1 in the preseason starts on October 3rd. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock to bring you some more leftovers from Media Day, but maybe a guy who's not eating leftovers anymore. What did Grayson Allen have to say? What about Royce O'Neal? What about Kaman Malawach, Rasheer Fleming, Nick Richards, Colin Gillespie? We have everybody, and we're going to get to some of them tomorrow. We'll save some for Friday as well. Of course, in the meantime, if you're looking for some more basketball stuff to carry you over, we'll have some full press conferences posted on our YouTube. Devin Booker's is posted right now. We'll get Jalen Green and a couple more up tonight and get some more up throughout the week. Of course, Steven, you are holding things down over on the Mercury side of things. One hell of a night for the Mercury.
Listen, per Mercury PR, one of the 5 biggest comebacks in WNBA playoff history took place. Just let that breathe for a moment, because that is insane. And the fact that it happened all in the last quarter and a half, well, I guess 2 quarters and a half because it went to overtime, but Mercury get down 20 with about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And they storm back and win the next quarter and a half as well as overtime on the road against a team that has been the best team in the league by far this season, comprehensively. Not easy to do.
No.
Anybody that's buying tickets, the tickets go on sale, I think, Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. They got a game on Sunday, or
Take
Friday
that, Jonas
and Sunday,
Brothers.
Friday and Sunday. So, yeah, Jonas Brothers kicked out of PHNX Arena for Game 3. It's going to be fun. Tap in with the Mercury, y'all. This team is real.
They are the realist, some might say.
Yeah.
Erica and Steven have done an incredible job over at PHNX Mercury. It's the best W podcast out there. Nobody is doing it like them. And if you love everything that Steven has to say about the Suns, you're going to love it even more over on the W side of things.
Post-game show on Friday, post-game show on Sunday for Game 3 and 4.
I mean,
and for every playoff game, we've been doing post-game shows. So tap in with us.
Tap in with them. Also, tap in PHNX D-backs right now.
Yes.
The Diamondbacks.
Shout out the mayor of PHNX.
The mayor of PHNX, of course, Derek Montilla. Geraldo Perdomo, the mayor of the goddamn world, because that man is incredible at baseball. Way better than anybody on the Cubs. And
hey, chill out, man. We didn't have to bring that up. But asking for help, though.
And listen, man, we are asking you for help.
That's crazy.
But
take that bass out your voice, then.
D-backs are just, they're just incredible right now. Snakes are alive. Also, check in with the Cardinals show. The Cardinals, tough loss, San Francisco. But us Cardinals fans were forged through the fire.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. What's going on,
bro? And that'll do it for PHNX.
Nah, man.
Hey, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, what's going on? Bo, Johnny, y'all need to talk to me, man. I got this man on my fantasy team. I picked him in.
Oh, that's tough.
I think it was my third pick or second pick.
No. Okay,
It's
in the Waffle House, brother.
Nah, oh, definitely not. Nah. Thankfully, I drafted deep at wide receiver, so I have options on the table. But
tough, dude.
Yeah, I only saw the 2 drops.
Drew Petzing is on my list. I'm not gonna tell you what list, but he's on my list.
Yeah,
bro, Drew Petzing. Okay, Drew Petzing,
Go crazy.
bro. I seriously can't stand the guy. He literally has Michael Wilson being like, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. That's how bad this passing game is. It's so bad. It makes me want to vomit. If I have to do an entire season of Petzing discourse, I can't. I can't do it anymore. And Jonathan Gannon, get that guy out of here. Get him out, okay? Get that guy out of here.
That's all I'm hearing from all Cardinals fans right now.
It's so bad. Kyler's doing his best, man. James Conner out for the season, which just
that's tough,
sucks. Should have drafted Cam Scatterboot.
That dude's a dog, though. I can't imagine he won't come back and be that same force.
For
that
sure.
He's been through bigger in life than that.
That's true. Tap in with the ASU show. TCU game. Friday night post-game show. ASU is 3-1 on the season. I've been off for about a week. I'll be back tomorrow. Lots of fun over in the ASU chat. One of our most diehardiest of diehard chats, and I'll throw them a bone because I like Damon and Kevin. I hate U of A, but they are doing wonderful things over on that show, covering that team. Big game for U of A this weekend. Iowa State and U of A going. And then, of course, basketball season coming up. They were just down at McHale Center giving some live coverage. Again, I love those guys. I hate their teams and everything they stand for collegiately in the sports realm. But if you are a Wildcats fan, I forgive you. And I will forgive you even more if you go and check them out. PHNX Rising still going as well. Am I missing? I'm going to feel really bad. Southwest by, so that's by Josh Bartlestein on. Recently.
I think this might be the second time that you've disrespected the Rising crew.
No, what do you mean?
He just mentioned him.
I brought him up. Yeah. You disrespect me by not listening. Not listening to the guy who has the pants on in the podcast. Come on. Russell, yes, I will meet up with you at the ASU game.
Is that JR's brother?
Russell Smith, JR Smith. Let me know. Let me know, Russell. And we can find some place to meet up. It's supposed to rain. Gross. Okay, fine. We got to get out of here. You follow the show at PHNX_Suns. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. That's bringing you coverage of Media Day and everything as we gear up for the Suns preseason, the Suns regular season, and so on and so forth. Big shout out to the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, also behind the camera, for all of the incredible video that we got and that we're going to be putting on YouTube that we had on this show. And then, of course, making the thumbnail and producing. I've done it. It's hard, man. It is hard to do all of that all in one day. And we need him to drop 30 tonight. So it's a big day for the Freckled Mamba.
And he just got back from vacation, like throwing immediately into the fire.
Welcome to the club. You can follow him.
He said that's what happened when he first came around anyway. So
you can follow him at PA.
That's crazy.
You can follow him at Freckled Mamba. You need to change your @ to Old Mangled Toes. There you go. Finally nailed it. Big shout out to Steven, who asked some incredible questions at Media Day today, getting some very thoughtful, probably the most thoughtful answers from most of the people that were up there. So always give him a follow as we get into this Suns season, as we approach the end of Mercury season. He's just always breaking down good basketball, and that's just it. That's what you get with Steven, is you get really, really good basketball talk. So do it at Steven PG3. That's Steven with a PH, because he balances us out, because I, as always, wear the pants of this podcast. And you can follow the Pants Wear, new nickname alert, the Pants Wear, at ERIKRUBY. I'm back. Freckled Mamba's back. We're back live, and we'll be doing it again tomorrow at 3.
We all silly like the mayor.